Hey guys, mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, bringing you guys another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In this video, we're actually going to be talking about a brand new feature that JP Opera Omnia received, which is the LD and burst weapons. Now, for those of you that only play global DFFOO, this feature will be available much later on, but again, you could always reference this video back once that time actually draws near for global. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into the topics of LD and burst weapons. LD weapons are one of the two brand new weapons introduced recently in JP Opera Omnia. Power-wise, they sit in between a base EX weapon and an EX Plus weapon. Stat-wise and CP-wise, LD weapons exceed base EX weapons, but are still weaker than EX Plus weapons. The main purpose of an LD weapon is to unlock the passive it contains, which grants that character an additional ability they can use in battle. To do this will require either 3 duplicates of that LD weapon or 12 power stones, plus however many power orbs you need to unlock this passive. This unlocked ability has 3 uses and prolongs that character's longevity with a very powerful ability. For example, Squall's LD weapon grants him access to his Rough Divide ability, allowing him to dish out a massive AoE Brave plus 100% AoE HP damage to all enemies with a huge overflow, and granting him a special buff icon for 16 turns, increasing all party members' attack and max Brave overflow. There are currently 2 ways to acquire LD weapons. The most obvious way is to pull them on their respective featured banners with either tickets or gems. The second way is to spend 300 G tokens, which is the same amount for an EX weapon, which is an equivalent to 75,000 gems. Our next topic of this video is what everybody came for, which is the burst weapons. Burst weapons are another tier of weapons, this time higher than a fully max limit broken EX Plus weapon, having higher stats, CP, and level cap compared to them. Burst weapons currently do not need to be limit broken, but still requires you to level them to maximize the stats they grant. Burst weapons grant that character a special mode known as Burst, which can be activated during combat. Similar to summoning, Burst mode grants 6 free turns. However, there are some key differences. Burst mode turns are only accessible to that character, it cannot be used during a summon phase, and any turns used during the burst phase do not count towards your turn count, nor do they deplete any existing buff durations for that character. Burst mode can only be used once per battle in single player, which means if you have a full party with burst, only one of them can use this special mode. If you use a friend support unit with a burst weapon and immediately click on burst, they will automatically go into the finishing move from their burst weapon. In co-op, however, all party members can use their burst, so feel free to go to town with this in co-op. Activating burst mode will change the scenery in battle and also play the corresponding battle BGM for that character, which makes this mode a very exciting visual and audio treat. Burst mode allows that character to have 1 free usage of their Command 1, Command 2, and LD ability, and immediate access to their EX ability. At the 6th or final turn of burst mode, the character will have access to their finishing move, which breaks the current damage cap of 99,999, ending this mode with a total amount of damage you dealt with burst being flashed on the screen. There are several ways to acquire burst weapons. The first is again the most obvious, which is pulling for them in their respective featured banners, either with tickets or gems. Another way to acquire these burst weapons is by spending 500 G tokens on the banner they are featured in, which is equivalent to a whopping 125,000 gems. The final way to acquire burst weapons is by exchanging 50 burst tokens in the burst weapon token shop. Currently, there are 3 ways to acquire burst tokens. The first is if you sell a burst weapon, you are given 5 burst tokens. So if you happen to pull a dupe, you can always sell it, as remember, burst weapons cannot be limit broken. Another way to acquire burst tokens is to purchase the premium version of the monthly MOG Pass, which gives you 2 MOG tokens. You can then exchange these 2 tokens in the MOG token shop for 10 burst tokens. The last way to earn these burst tokens is by completing a currently featured Chaos stage with a party of only Synergy characters. Upon completing it with this requirement, you will be awarded with 1 burst token. The last thing I want to point out regarding burst weapons is they are currently only going to be released for main protagonist and main antagonist. This may change in the future, but that is currently the plan Square Enix has set out for burst weapons. One more topic I would like to cover in this video is the change to the gacha banners for these weapons. First of all, as of October 31st, every banner in JP DFFOO will no longer be giving you off-banner 5 stars. The only 5-star weapons you can pull from the featured banners will be the weapons that are featured. This is an amazing upgrade which hopefully Global DFFOO can receive early. Another change they have made to banners is the orb animation. Orbs will now only start either at blue, gold, and a brand new lightning gold. There will no longer be starting silver orbs. An orb starting at gold will now be a guaranteed EX weapon, and the lightning gold orb will be a guaranteed burst weapon. The rates for weapons have also been adjusted as well. If you are doing single pulls, the rates for EX weapons are at 0.75%, LD weapons are at 0.5%, and burst weapons are at 0.1%. If you are doing a multi-summon, the rates are as follows. EX weapons are at 7.5%, LD weapons are at 5%, and burst weapons are 3%. One thing to keep in mind is that newly introduced burst weapons will be featured in multiple banners during that month period, and as more are introduced, they will also be added to the burst weapon shop where you can exchange your burst tokens for a burst weapon of your choice. That is definitely a lot of information to take in regarding these weapons. Now, a lot of you are going to be asking me, Broadway Saiyan 40, what are your thoughts about these weapons? Do you think that these burst weapons are going to be changing the landscape of the game? Is it going to be moving more towards pay to win? Do you think they really matter for the current Chaos era? What are your overall thoughts about this? Well, here's how I approach this. First of all, between those two weapons, the ones that really stand out to me as giving the most value are actually going to be the LD weapons, because if you think about it, having an additional ability for a character prolongs their longevity, gives them access to another ability, which will make them much more effective in combat. And just take a look at Squall's LD weapon. It also gives him a special buff icon that lasts 16 turns that also applies as an aura to your party members, increasing their attack and max brave overflow. And to top it off, the LD weapons actually have a much better percentage chance of actually pulling. As we already see, burst weapons have the lowest percentage. So where am I going with this? If LD weapons are the ones you want to go for, then what's the point of burst weapons? Well, to be honest, yes, the burst weapons are great. They make a character stronger. They give you that amazing background scenery with an amazing BGM. They give you the opportunity to get 6 free turns, dish out as much damage as possible. But currently right now, unless we start seeing more and more burst weapons and they start to add more mechanics to it, they're really only a luxury item. And from my personal experience currently, because I do have Squall's burst weapon, I will tell you right now that I still prefer to take characters such as Keese or characters such as Eldnarsh, even Vayne, because they have mechanics that actually help me out with the current Chaos content that JP has. I'll tell you right now that during my FEOD 12 completion, I tried taking Squall. I resetted so many times, and then guess what I did? I actually swapped Squall for Keese. Keese has those turn shenanigans, and I was actually able to beat it with flying colors without even needing to continue. So as you can see right there, you know, for me personally, if you're asking me my opinion on them, they are a luxury item. I don't think global players who are only keeping up with JP information just for foresight should be too concerned at this point that they're going to be a must pull. Now, that obviously might change once they introduce a brand new difficulty that's going to be even harder than Chaos, but for now, I feel like they are really a luxury item, and the weapons that you should be going for are going to be the LD weapons. And to top it off, I mean, they're going to be featuring these burst weapons in multiple banners as soon as they're released, so you're going to have plenty of ways or opportunities to hopefully be able to pull them while you're trying to get, you know, some LD weapons or maybe some EX weapons that you may be missing, because EX weapons now have an increased rate, which is pretty good to be able to get an EX weapon a lot easier than before. All right, guys. Well, again, this was a lot of information to take in. I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this video. I had a lot of fun making it because I know this is a highly sought after topic that a lot of people love to talk about. And I just wanted to throw my hat in there and give you guys some information about it and also my overall thoughts about the burst weapons and the LD weapons. Once again, this is 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for my next video, and mahal, everyone.